Hello, thank you for joining this email marketing webinar. My name is Nathan. I am the marketing manager at the BookTip Group. I have over almost 20 years experience, having sent millions of emails for companies such as Aviva, Rightmove, Marks & Spencer's, Barclays, Disney and more. Today I just want to run through 8 simple tips to help improve your email marketing. This will be a light touch. As you can imagine, the email marketing is a huge subject. But we'll keep it light touch. I have included some links for further reading at the end. So let's jump straight into it. So we start with subject lines. This will be the first thing your recipient sees, and along with sender reputation, the main driver of opens. A good subject line will pique your recipient's curiosity and encourage them to open and engage with your content. A bad subject line will stop your email from even landing in your recipient's inbox. Less is more with subject lines. Research shows that a subject line of around 41 characters tends to have the most impact. When you think about your subject line, think about it as having one singular task: to encourage your recipient to open your email. It needs to grab attention from all the other emails in an inbox, it needs to tease the content inside, and compel your recipient to click through and read your email. But this isn't a race to the bottom. The subject line still needs to be relevant to the content in the email, it needs to be well crafted, and needs to avoid using certain words that will get you sent straight to the spam filter. Words such as free or winner will impact on your delivery and will damage your sender reputation, not only preventing your email from landing in an inbox, but also potentially causing you longer term reputational issues. Yesware have a great guide for avoiding spammy subject lines, and Litmus have a really handy tool for checking the efficacy of your subject line, and there's links to both those at the end. A couple more things on subject lines. There is no magic formula, despite what some websites might tell you. You need to craft your subject line for your audience, your content, where your recipients are in your sales funnel, and so on. Lastly, consider A/B testing, not just for subject lines, but also for content, the time of day you send, and so on. Most email software will let you test 2 different subject lines using a small percentage of a total pot, with the remainder being automatically sent the winning subject line, normally based on an open metric. Hand in hand with subject line goes preheader text. Preheader text is to opens, as the punchline is to joke telling. It's an often underutilized opportunity to further tell your story and encourage an open. It's good practice to write the subject line and preheader as one piece of copy. The wonderful Email and Acid Bunch have a useful article on this listed at the end. On this slide, you can see how preheader text appears in some inboxes. If you don't specify it, it'll get filled with content from the email. So this "Hi Nathan, did a great job" is being pulled from the email itself. So make the most of your preheader text, use it to help drive more opens. Personalization. Now this is a biggie. Personalization in email has a demonstrable positive impact on open rates and interaction. A Campaign Monitor report shows that there's a 26% more likelihood of an email being opened if it contains some degree of personalization. And perhaps more impressively for your ROI, a nearly 6% increase in sales from personalized emails. Good personalization starts with good data, and if you have that, nothing should stop you from upgrading your email comms to include a smattering of personalization. However, don't go overboard. In today's climate of data privacy, it pays to be a little restrained. Also, please consider fallback options for where data is missing. Make sure you have a suitable fallback option. And lastly, test. Make sure that the data is pulling through correctly, because there's not much worse for your brand than sending out an email with failed personalization. Content. So through your personalized, intriguing, witty, and timely subject line and preheader text, you persuaded your recipient to open your email. Now what? Content needs to be relevant to your audience, relevant to their place in the sales funnel, and on your brand tone of voice. My biggest bit of advice for content is to limit your call to actions. It's good to bear in mind that email is a conduit, rarely the end goal. Normally, you want your recipient to do something after reading your email. Go to your website, complete a form, some singular action. Try not to kitchen sink it. Too many call to actions will lead to reader paralysis, and they'll end up clicking on none of them. Data segmentation. This is a really powerful tool for organizing and categorizing your recipients, and allows you to amend the messaging to suit each pot of recipients. Think about your sales funnel and how different recipients sit at different points along it. You wouldn't send the same message to someone who's never heard of your brand and to someone who's about to make a purchase. All you'll do is alienate the people you've worked hard to move along your funnel. It's not just for sales funnel stuff though. You can segment by engagement, geography, likes and dislikes, purchase history, any number of metrics that may be useful to your business. Most email service providers or email software providers, ESPs, will allow for segmentation. And it's best to start big. Split your total pot into cold leads, warm leads, hot leads, and then inside each segment, see if you can get more granular. You'll also need to stay on top of this. Move recipients into different segments as their actions and desires change. A/B testing. The best way to learn is to try. If something fails, it isn't necessarily a failure. It's a learning opportunity. One of the joys of email marketing is the endless possibility of testing. You can A/B test pretty much anything. Use it. Learn what your audience is engaging with and what they're not engaging with, and apply your learnings to the next campaign. Most ESPs will allow for A/B testing of subject lines and content. If not, it's pretty straightforward to set up a manual test. Just send email A to a small percentage of your list and email B to an equally small percentage. Give it 24 hours. Check your desired metric, whether that's opened, clicks, dwell time, so on, and then send the winning option to the remainder of your list. Email rendering and testing. When I was a front-end developer, I spent a lot of time tweaking emails to look good in as many inboxes as possible. There are some really crazy hacks out there, mostly for Outlook, unsurprisingly. Weird tricks and tips to stop email rendering from breaking your content or making it look amateurish. Oracle estimate that for each email sent, there could be 300,000 different renders of it. Email is the grand old lady of digital marketing, yet there is little standardization across email apps, operating systems, screen sizes, browsers, and the email software you use to send, not to mention images being enabled or disabled. Sometimes fixing something for one email preview will break it in another, so it's wise to use a best use case scenario. Look at your analytics, see what your recipients are using to view your emails, and aim to satisfy the majority. You'll never have one email that renders perfectly in all situations. Unless you're hand coding your emails, you are reliant on your ESP to provide bulletproof templates. The main players, such as Campaign Monitor, have a bunch of solid templates. If you want to see how your email will look, I thoroughly recommend you check out Litmus. They provide render previews of your emails across a ton of different combinations. So you can see how it will look in Outlook 2007 on a Windows 10 machine, for example. And again, design and build for the majority of your recipients. Plain text emails. Now, I'm a fairly recent convert to plain text emails. Must admit to some initial skepticism, but having recently run some plain text campaigns and seeing the conversions we're getting, I'm now 100% on team plain. We have been averaging a 40% open rate, and we've generated multiple leads, all from plain text emails. Found they're especially effective if you use them as part of a campaign. So you send a first email with your main intent, your main message, and then one or two follow-ups over the next couple of weeks. Just remember, with no images or fancy stuff, the copy is doing all the hard lifting, so they need to be well written and laser focused. The power of plain text emails comes from them looking like an email from a singular person rather than a big branded affair from a company. And when used with carefully written follow-up emails, they can be seriously powerful in driving leads and building relationships. We've been using Mailshake recently, and we've had some really good results with it. It's a really easy to use system, and it's been working out pretty well for us. As with all these things, just make sure your data practices are GDPR compliant and that you're only emailing people you have permission to email. So if you follow these 8 tips, your email marketing will improve. Try one, try two, try all 8, see how you get on. Just remember, email marketing is an evolving process. So try something, test it. If it works, fantastic. And if it doesn't work, you've still learned something you can apply to future campaigns. Email marketing has been evolving for nearly 45 years. So this is very much the tip of the iceberg. But hopefully these 8 tips have helped you in some way. I do encourage you to try them out. If you'd like more information about what we do and how we can help your business, please do get in touch. I'd like to thank you very much for your time, and I will speak to you all very soon. Thank you.